Move over, Swanson. I'm driving.
Wow!
Hey, Smails! My thing is bigger than your whole boat!
Welcome back to the Caddyshack Minute, the podcast in which we view and discuss and think about and see if anyone's going to finish that fat off of Caddyshack 1 minute at a time. My name is Tom Taylor, and I am here with my friends Mike DeMaria.
Hello.
And Dan Lewis.
Hiya.
The word friend is strong. What are you going to do?
Hiya? What does that even mean?
I used up our do-over, so...
We're not... Yeah, I can't get a mulligan on that one to use a goth turn.
Jesus. Hey, you know what's fun about this minute? I don't even know if you guys remember this. Ages ago, back in 2016, when we decided to do this show, we're like, hey, let's do a test minute. And we just picked a random minute, and we picked minute 31. So I have all these notes from months and months and months ago, because we never did a test.
I knew I'd seen this minute before.
We just said, fuck it, we'll do it live. And we never did the test thing.
You know what? That's why I was watching this minute again. And I had like this deja vu. I'm like, we did this already. Am I living in some sort of a Twilight Zone where I'm reliving this minute? Or
right, it's a Groundhog Day where it's minute after minute after minute, the same minute. And if you're gonna have a minute that you have to redo over and over and over again, I must say,
might as well
this is as good as it gets.
Yeah, you're reliving a day where you rewatch the same minute over and over again. So each day it's like 20 times watching the minute, and that just happens over and over again. And it's a really efficient way of watching a minute of a movie.
This is a fantastic minute. Why don't you describe it?
I'm going to. Okay, here's how it starts. It starts with Judge Smails yelling at Spaulding because Spaulding had just asked that woman if she's going to finish her fat. And it ends with Czervik farting proudly at his table of hosts.
Oh, it's a top movie fart in the face of stiff competition, along with, of course, Blazing Saddles.
Sure.
As a standalone fart, there's not a lot of movie farts that are better than this one for me.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great fart. We'll get to it.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, okay, fine.
Let's take it from the top.
For the very first thing that happens that I think is hysterical that I never noticed before is the Reverend or whatever Bishop Pickering is sitting next to Spaulding, which in itself is funny. That it's funny that Bishop Pickering has to sit next to Spaulding, he's like
the shortest straw.
Yeah, he drew the short straw and had to sit next to Spaulding, and he looks super annoyed when Smails yells at Spaulding. Bishop Pickering's like, oh, and he's like helping him with his.
He fixes his napkin for him like a child.
Like, what are you doing?
It's great. Veteran actor Henry Wilcoxon.
Yeah.
Hoping John F. Barman Jr. with his napkin, this lowly actor who never acts again for the rest of his life.
John F. Barnum Jr. That guy's one last name away from being a president.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
Being a Kennedy.
I did read that John F. Barman Jr. Never, of course, we know he never acted again. But it was, I did hear, and this can't be verified, that he now works as a realtor in the Boston area.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what it says. Little shout out to the
there's that,
American Movie Classics for that one.
Him and Dr. Dow, they both were in that Caddyshack, what was the show, like the retrospective?
I forgot the name of it. It was like the making of Caddyshack-ish type of show.
Where is that, and how do we get our hands on that?
Yeah,
I think you can find it. I think if it's the one that was on like the DVD and stuff. I think you can just find it on YouTube or something.
Yeah, but it's not. But that one didn't have Barnum and Jr. or Dr. Dow in it.
Oh, interesting.
That's the one who had D'Annunzio was in that one.
Okay.
Yeah,
I gotta track that because you said the name of it like the last time you mentioned Spaulding.
Yeah, it's Caddyshack: The Inside Story.
There it is. Yeah.
Oh, that is it.
Yeah. Dr. Dow.
I was gonna say it doesn't. It's a Caddyshack making of thing that makes zero attempts at any kind of clever golf pun or anything. The Inside Story.
Right. Yeah. Why don't they do something?
The making of Caddyshack,
featuring Dr. Dow and Barnum and Bailey Circus.
Fat finishing. Barnum and Bailey Jr.
Yeah. He's like Jack Sprat's wife. He just wants fat.
Yeah. Can you blame him?
Dr. Dow. Yeah, I did also read, same website, American Movie Classics, which thank God that the channel that shows, Mrs. Miniver and the Magnificent Ambersons also shows
How Green Was My Valley.
How Green Was My Valley also shows Caddyshack because it is a classic, and thank you very much for recognizing it.
Yes.
But Mr. Wang is played by a college professor, Dr. Dao.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's a college professor?
That's what it says, and it says he never made another movie, but I disagree. He did make another movie, and that was Caddyshack, The Inside Story.
Completely unrelated film to Caddyshack.
Yeah.
It's a war film.
Are you willing to give us the inside story? I am.
Right. Yeah. Well, we don't know who else was in that because they were shot in silhouette and their voice was given that electronic thing, so they could tell the real inside story.
Yeah.
And then they were shot after filming.
Are you willing to go on record?
Talk about
Whistleblowers, Caddyshack whistleblowers.
This is on the record, right?
Yeah.
Show us on the Baby Ruth where the producer touched.
My name is Doctor. Yeah, and Dow. Yeah, Dr. Dow.
That works.
By the way, so just right off the bat from here, and this is a sort of bone of contention last time, was that Mike was talking about how this is definitely not the 4th of July. However, right from the start of this minute, you can see there is not just flags on the tables as centerpieces, but bunting and flags all over the walls.
There's no other explanation.
So it's Memorial Day or it's 4th of July, period, full stop. Yeah. One of those two.
Say
but it's interesting. Like Mike started to say, like if it was 4th of July, would Judge Smails be wearing his St. Andrew's Scottish, what do you call it? It's a jacket, but is there a name for it? I don't know.
It's like a short.
But that's kind of staggering. Like
it's a right wee jacket.
Like what would does he wear that every single occasion? Like is there any occasion that he wouldn't wear that to?
It's his favorite jacket. He wears it every Saturday.
But he's also like when he's talking to Lacey, it makes it sound like this is a special occasion that he doesn't normally wear. Yes, I love her reaction during that. It's actually really funny. She's kind of like she looks around for a second, like oh, what? He's talking to me? What's going on? What? Like I got to listen to the story about the jacket and St. Andrews and everything.
He's piling the butter on.
Yeah,
that's
And Maggie's right there, just being a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
Maggie's got to sit there and stare at him to make sure that I know what you're doing.
Is she just being insecure or is she being territorial? We can't really tell.
Being just a pain in the ass.
What's the difference there? I mean, she's you
want to hear what my note is, Mike? Mm-hmm. I wrote down a note. My note is Maggie Buzzkill. Mm-hmm. There you see. That's how
I did it without notes, Tom.
No, these are little notes and then I riff. I can riff from the notes.
I'm laying sideways on the floor in my living room, holding the microphone in my hand and just riffing, man. Just riffing like a jazzman. And you're sitting there going to your notes with your little, you got your bifocals on your nose.
I do. And I got my green visor on and my sleeves are rolled up with little garters and
things. Notes, Tom. Flying without a net.
Hey, wait, speaking of notes, you guys made me take notes back when this was going to be our test show that never was.
I didn't make you do anything.
Well, it was suggested that we find some background on St. Andrews and everything. Here are my notes.
I didn't suggest anything.
Are we going to go through the whole history of St. Andrews?
Not at all. I've got 3 lines. I've got less than 3 lines here. But
I have one question. I'm hoping you'll answer it. Go.
Okay. St. Andrews, founded in 1754, in 1897, codified the rules of golf and remained one of the governing authorities for the game until 2004. The Open is still held there, one of the 4 major tournaments, period.
Right. But hang on a second. The founding was when? 1750?
1754.
And then the golf. So it took them 150 years to get the rules for golf together?
It's very complicated.
Oh my God. What were they doing in the 150 years? Caber toss?
I don't know.
Turbulent time.
Yeah.
Well, they started where it was basically a version of soccer first. You just kicked the ball. There were no clubs.
Right.
Then there was that innovation. Yeah. Then you would just slap it out of the air. You'd slap it out of your friend's hand. Like your friend would act as the tee. You would just slap it out of his hand. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't go nearly far enough. It would take forever. Each game took about a month. So that helps explain why it would take them so long to actually codify the rules.
Yeah, exactly. Probably for a good century or so, they were just knocking a ball around.
Yeah.
They hadn't figured out to do the whole
goddamn game. We can figure out the rules.
So it just was a lot of just knocking the ball around.
Yeah.
It's really funny to me that Scottish sport, golf is sort of like one of the most, I guess, considered to be one of the most refined sports, I would say. That's the general idea about golf.
Sure.
But that like
Baba Booey.
all of other Scottish sports are like the least refined thing in the world. Like how far can you throw a log? Right? Like how many stumps can you dig out of the ground in 5 minutes?
How much of that sheep can you eat before it dies?
How much stomach can you eat? Stomach eating competition over at Nathan's.
We just lost all of our
stomach.
You didn't
Scottish
answer the
listeners.
Yeah, right. Apologies to all the Scottish listeners out there.
But how did I fail you? What
I wanted to know if they really did pronounce it "goff" without the L as you and I do.
They do. It was but he says "goff," which sounds like they literally just left the L out. But in what I don't know why I didn't write this down, but it was more like GAUF or something in what I was reading.
Right.
You guys chat amongst yourselves for a second. I'm gonna look this up.
Could it be the opposite of a silent letter, where it's an extra letter that is pronounced but isn't there? That's the opposite of a silence letter. So they say golf, but it's just GOF. The L is implied.
How do you know it's implied though?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how they pronounce it. That you'd have to be back. You'd have to go back in time, back to whatever it is. Any time between 1754 and
I'd love to go back in time.
1890.
Where would you go if you could go back in time, Mike?
In my time?
Or whatever. You just said you wanted to go back in time.
Well, I'm just saying, would you go back in time to your time, sometime in your timeline?
I probably would.
Or would you
I'd think about it, but I'd probably end up.
Timeline?
I'd probably go to like 1978 or something.
84 for me, about 84.
Yeah.
8 years old. God, that was great.
Yeah,
that was a good year for me.
Early 80s, about 2 weeks before Christmas.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Anytime.
Wow.
Yeah,
That'd be
anytime.
really nice.
2 weeks before Christmas, 82.
Make sure you don't go back far enough so that ELO's Out of the Blue hasn't come out yet.
Oh yeah, don't go
One of
out.
those,
After
school's out, you got nothing to do all day,
Oh my God.
but the parents are cooking all the time.
Yeah. Some relatives are going to come over.
Yeah.
Got your bike. You ride your bike downtown. You buy some cards.
Everybody comes over, brings a dish.
Yeah.
Yep.
They give you a little green handshake at the door. Here, how you doing? How you doing? Here's $5. Here's $10.
Yeah. Okay, fine.
Yeah. Stay out of my way.
I remember that the screen door in my house just slamming shut as I just came and went with total impunity. Just had such freedom to just roam and just do whatever I want. The Tigers were putting together a monster team that 2 years later would take home the world championship.
35-5.
35-5 to start the season
35-5. Fuck, to hell with the Cubs this year. That was nothing compared to what they did in '84.
Nothing, please.
35-5.
Do it. By the way, the Cubs, can I just say something right now? It's pretty clear that someone sold their soul to the devil to make that happen.
Thanks,
because
asshole.
a week later, the celebration ends with
celebration crashes.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's like selling your soul to the devil, and he, instead of waiting till you die to take your soul, he waits a week later.
Psych.
Yeah, they said just give us a week of world champions.
Best week of my life.
Yeah. No, but he doesn't even say, I'll give you the world champions, and we'll talk about it after you die. And then he says, you know what, suckers, Trump.
Yeah.
1
That's
week
the kind
later.
of shitty deal that even the devil tries to talk you out of. Goes,
Right.
you really sure you want to do this? Yeah. We want to be world champions. All right.
No, I'm the devil. I'm known for this sort of thing. This isn't going to be like a straight up and down deal. You know that, right?
No, I'm the devil, but this is Trump.
Come on. Between you and me.
We don't want him.
Let's be reasonable.
Yeah.
Although imagine if you're an Indians fan and a Clinton supporter.
Yeah, I know some
You're like, what the
Indians fans.
fuck?
I know some progressive Indians fans.
Look at Tom remembering who the Cubs played.
Yeah.
Well, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I was born in Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, you were? I didn't know
My
that,
dad
Tom.
adores the Indians. I was sad for him. Yeah.
You and Harvey Picar.
Yeah. You must love Cedar Point, Tom. Just like we did
love
growing
Cedar
up.
Point.
Oh my God, you guys! For all you listeners out there, there's this great park called Cedar Point, and it kicks the shit. I have to say, it kicks the
Sandusky.
shit out of your Six
Sandusky,
Flags and
Ohio.
all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But in Sandusky, Ohio, right on the Lake Erie, if I'm not mistaken, is
correct.
Cedar Point, which for some time had the highest, fastest roller coaster in the world. I don't think that's the case anymore, but they
will
got
be
these
again.
big, monstrous wooden ones.
Yeah, just
hate
death traps.
I like those. The Genesis.
The Gemini.
Gemini.
Like two that go at the same time.
Oh, the Gemini.
Talk about your early 80s. That was definitely from the early 80s. It's got like this very like Atari kind of lettering on it and stuff.
Yeah.
It looks very early computers.
That's a cool one, though, because you could go on it, and there's never a line because it's
There's
kind of
never
an
a
older
line because
one.
it'll give you a whiplash.
You just go round and round and round in that thing.
Yeah.
And I probably to this day have problems with that little sac that separates the vertebrae and the.
Exactly. I was gonna say,
I've got that same problem. But I remember just being full of funnel cake and just scorched. This was before. I think sunblock did exist, but it's before anybody had any idea that you were supposed to wear it. So like I'm just out there just getting scorched, just eating funnel cakes.
Bain de Soleil.
It sounds horrible right now, but it was greatest
awesome
thing in the world.
No, you get off the Gemini and they hand you a bag of all the cartilage in your body that got shaken out of you from that goddamn wooden roller coaster.
Yeah, you don't know, just a pile of cartilage underneath it. You don't know if it's yours. It's just kind of a leave a cartilage, take a cartilage policy.
Doesn't look familiar, but okay. It looks like it fits.
Right. My body might reject this, but okay. And I just sprinkle it on my funnel cake.
Remember the
I did the demon drop not long ago. I was at Cedar Point with like my family like 2 or 3 years ago, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, Demon Drop's the one where you just drop at terminal velocity for a little while, right?
No, first they have to get you up there.
Yeah, they crank you up there.
You're like higher than anything in the park, and it's actually really scary.
That's the scariest thing in the world, and it's very fun that anticipation.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're ever going to come up with a ride for people where it's just the anticipation, and at the top they just let you down and you just get an elevator.
Right.
And
that
it's
was
only
scary.
the anticipation.
I was anticipating something. That was awful. They have a last time they had the dragster. I think it was called the dragster. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of new. And we were there for like a weekend, and I just kept like looking at it. And I'm like, I don't think I can. Oh my God, that would ruin my entire day. But it was like it's all this kind of like 50s kind of dragster kind of, themed thing. Mm-hmm. It goes from like 0 to like 80 or something in 2 seconds or something. Like you're just straight away. Mm-hmm. And then you head straight up, like vertically up, like completely straight up. And then immediately straight down again. And I think there's like a corkscrew to it. It just looks like I would be vomiting into my own eyeballs as I was coming down, and it just would not be worth it. But I was like, I don't know. I'm not going to die on it. It's not going to kill me.
I don't know about that. I mean,
I know it does happen. But
I know the odds are good, but the problem with things like that, like with anything like that, the like cliff diving or a roller coaster or even, skydiving, anything like climbing Mount Everest, anything where you die, where the whole goal was that you were doing a deadly-ish thing for kicks. Right. To me, is like not worth doing. Like I can't even get involved in that right now with this. At my age, I can't. Because the idea like if you die doing that, then it's like people go, "That's very tragic." But what are you doing?
You big dummy.
You're going 150 miles an hour, which humans aren't supposed to do, which was the whole reason you were doing it. Yeah, there's something about that bugs me.
They knew what they were getting into when they bought their tickets. I say, let them crash.
From Airplane, very good. Yeah,
I find way too many
counterpoint.
Exactly.
Let them crash. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, if something goes wrong when you're walking to the store for some milk and you get hit by a bus, then it's like, yes, that's you're just as dead as the guy who did the skydiving. But like everybody understands, you got to get milk.
Yeah,
but you don't have to be doing dumb shit for kicks. It doesn't. I don't want to have to put that on my headstone. Died trying to get kicks because he couldn't, because regular life just wasn't enough for this asshole.
I don't need kicks.
Yeah.
He'd apparently never tried a Heath bar, the most delicious thing in the world. That would have given him all the thrills he needed.
Coffee and
but he had to go
chocolate.
jump off a cliff.
I'm gonna if I had the kind of money to do this, I would just get a whole 18 gross of Heath bars, and I would stand at base camp at Mount Everest and be like, just have a Heath bar, stupid. You're going to go up there and climb over dead bodies. Just have a Heath bar.
Yeah.
I don't have these up there.
$10 doesn't finish this box before you get back dead.
Yeah. Let's just have one of these. Sit down here and have one of these and just take a relax.
I don't agree with climbing Mount Everest. I don't think people should be doing it.
It's been done.
It's been done, and it's like oh, because it's there. It's like, well, so what?
Yeah, it's still
I thought
there.
Mount Everest was a lot cooler when no one had been there.
Yeah. Thanks for ruining it for everybody.
Yeah, now you've been up there. Great. Good for you. And I bet you it was just like being in the cold and being out with lots of wind.
Yeah. And the mountain was like, oh, you got me.
And now we got to
You
send a
son of a
helicopter
bitch.
after your ass because you couldn't take it.
Right. A helicopter that
Right.
could be saving a goat somewhere.
Yeah.
You jerk.
I'm sure it's good for the Sherpa economy, but I just don't.
Right.
Still,
So
you just get a bunch of Norwegians being like, "Oh yeah, life got too boring, so now I have to do this deadly thing."
all right, so
Yeah.
we got Al Czervik here.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's holding court.
He is.
He is in the most glorious way.
He's in his element. He's got their attention.
Yeah.
This is where he shines.
So is he recently widowed? Is that what we're to understand from the story? He says something like when Mona died or something?
Yeah, I think he's widowed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like just months ago, it sounds like, or like a year ago. What does he say?
It's almost like, yeah, he just cut loose ever since she died.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Was this like, was he like wearing like a gray suit with a black tie and like with his hair combed like a few months ago, and then his wife died and his tie turned white and his shirt turned yellow and his
Right.
jacket turned plaid and he just went bananas?
No, I think he's always been
Turned a
this
corner.
guy.
I think so too.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I was reading. So I can't quite confirm this, but like, okay, he tells the joke about still got marks on it where the jockey was hitting it, and that one guy at the end of the table laughs and kind of spits up a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that's Doug Kenny,
Wait, the guy in the middle?
the guy in the middle with the glasses who looks like the doctor on the Love Boat,
Oh,
and he
I
kind
don't-
of goes like he's spitting up like from laughing from that, like he's spitting something out of his mouth. I think that's Doug Kenny. I read somewhere that that's Doug Kenny.
I read that Doug Kenny can be found cutting up a line of cocaine somewhere in like a dinner scene or a scene in the
Oh.
movie.
Well, this
Well, it might
would
be
it.
this.
Oh, I'd be surprised if I read that, and also this was also Doug Kenny, but no one ever mentioned it.
Right.
But that could
Well,
be true.
we'll keep an eye on that guy and see if he's cutting coke later
Yeah,
on.
we'll have to check it out. I don't think that's Doug Kenny, but he's pretty made up. He's got like kind of his hair is
Yeah.
done a certain way, so it could be.
My hair's different, you moron.
I have to say, I love the look that Maggie gives, like when he tells her to go tell the chef this is low grade dog food, and she
Yeah.
gives this really good look, like, "Ooh, boy, it's gonna be rough."
Yeah, we talk about our little revelations and stuff. For you, I assume, I'm a little surprised at how much I hate the Gopher and stuff like that. We're all surprised how much we love D'Annunzio. I've always Maggie's sort of been the joke of this movie for me for most of my life watching it. Like that she gets kind of crazy, and I don't get why she has an accent, and I don't totally understand what she's doing in the movie and all this stuff. But so far, she's very, very charming. I'm a little taken with Maggie.
I really like Maggie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No.
I'm on her side so far.
Well, the love affair stops with me because I don't.
Oh, okay.
All right, hey,
I
listen.
don't like
so
her.
reasonable people
I'm
can
tell you
disagree.
something right now. I don't like her. I don't like Danny.
Yeah.
I'll agree with you later about Maggie, but so far,
I don't know what she's
I'm
doing
not
with
gonna-
Danny. I think she's too good for him.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
She shouldn't be with him. And he's
It might
only
not
like an
last.
aspiring Irish. She's a real, according to Hoyle, Irish, you know?
Do you know what her last name is? The characters?
O'Houlihan or
O'Hooligan.
oh no, really? It's O'Hooligan.
I just found that out tonight.
Oh, that's great. O'Hooligan. I didn't know that. Oh yeah, it's Maggie O'Hooligan.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, I also read that she's based on the girls at the country club where Brian Doyle Murray worked when he was a
Hey.
teen. He said that they recruited they had recruited girls from Ireland for summer work there.
That's incredible, and I
Yeah.
feel so stupid for not putting that together because I went to a camp in Michigan where the same thing would happen. They would have like there were like 4 or 5 like British, Scottish, Irish girls who would work there and stuff,
Is this the creepy
and they were
camp?
just imported.
Which camp is this?
Is this
Tommy
Tommy's
Creepy Camp.
Tommy Creepy Camp.
Top camp for
Story
the
of my life.
camp for the very tall.
No, it's Tommy's.
We all try to adjust to each other.
It's Tommy's Creepy Camp because he went to this camp until about a year ago.
Why you did?
Yeah.
That's a slight exaggeration.
Oh,
Okay.
Tom, when are you gonna stop coming to the camp? You've been coming here for 20 years.
You got to stop making it so much fun, and I'll stop showing up.
Tom, what's the story here? You just were going to camp the whole time? You've been doing
I
summer
started
camp?
going to this camp in 1984, the University of Michigan. Perhaps you've heard of it. They have
Alumni
a camp.
camp.
It's a beautiful camp, alumni family
Yeah.
camp.
Hang on
on
a
the
second.
lake.
I'm the only alum from Michigan here.
All right.
His dad.
My dad went to U of M, and in Boyne City, Michigan, on the shores of Lake Walloon, is Camp Michigania. And so my family and my friend's family, co-host of the Indiana Jones Minute, Jerry Porter, would go to this camp. It was like a week every summer. You know,
do
it was a lot of fun. We did crafts. We did adventuring.
Make a new name tag
soul
every
searching.
year.
I met a girl once. Shot a rifle.
They make new name tags out of wood.
Yeah, we paint a little clever thing, like maybe a little Star Wars thing on it, man.
But the thing is, though, he's in his 30s and he's going, and there's kids there like 12, 13 years old. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
I'm sure that wasn't creepy, Tom, that you were there.
You were married when you stopped going.
They called me Mr. Boy. I think I was married when I stopped going. Yeah, you make it sound weird, but it was totally normal.
Right.
It's
He was like Peter Pan, refused to grow up.
Except everybody in his life, we agreed to call it Tommy's Creepy Camp because it was creepy.
So did you go there and commiserate with the other people who had been going to the camp since 1984, Tom?
Well, see, that's exactly it. I had friends who I would only see there every year.
Oh, and they all kept coming back?
A lot of them did.
Did they have, what kind of a bed did you sleep on? Did they have a big, tall bed?
I slept in a bunk bed.
For grown men?
Thing in the world. Yeah, it was fun, though.
I had a great time. Dan, it was a mixture of his people his age and adolescents.
Mm-hmm, yeah, but then also like 80-year-olds and parents and
disgusting.
40. It was fun.
I can see right now like Tom is there with his backpack and he's walking toward the bunk with his sleeping bag, and there's other parents dropping the kid off with the car, just like staring at him with a little scowl, being like, "Who's that guy? I don't know what's going on."
It was a lot of fun. You'd be in the dining hall. You'd be talking to like some 70-year-old guy about, what do you think the markets are going to do? And then you turn around and there's a kid, like picking his nose. You're like, "Hey, did you see the new Doctor Who? That was fantastic, wasn't it?"
Booger futures are up.
Booger futures are way up. Here comes the Minister of Boogers with the Booger report. Everybody shut up.
Yeah.
Hey, this is great.
Tom. Every time I think Tom is, maybe Tom's not a kid still. I get a story like this. I learn something new, and it's always like Tom goes to camp or
Tommy's
Tom.
Creepy Camp.
Yeah, Tom goes to Creepy Camp. He stayed in the Creepy Cabin. It's spelled with K's. Creepy Cabin for adults.
I don't know. I don't know if I can make it out in the regular world. I think I better stay at Tommy Creepy Camp another year.
Hey, Tom, how old were you? Like in the middle there somewhere where they were like, Tom, this is the hardest part of the job. We're gonna need you to start staying in the adult cabin.
What?
Has there been a show where we have not had a siren?
No, I live in Chicago. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's a major metropolitan area.
Sorry.
Right.
Not everybody gets along.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Finish your
Chicago.
story.
Wait, who had a story?
He's telling a story about your creepy camp.
Yeah. Tell us another Creepy Camp story.
God, I don't know. Do I have any creepy camp stories?
No, there was a few that were a little creepy.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me one.
I don't remember, but you would say some weird stuff.
Remember that time I said some weird stuff?
Make something up.
And they every year they'd show up again with the name tags that they made the years before.
Yeah.
So they would have like 400 of these wooden name tags around their neck.
That's actually That's actually not true. You messed up. You crossed the line, Di Maria. That's not true.
No,
I do have like 1,000 of the things that I say, but I wouldn't.
I saw a picture of you with a bunch of them around your neck.
That's entirely possible.
You was the Mr. T of camp. Tom, so did you stop going to this camp a couple years ago?
Like a number of years. I haven't been since like
number two?
I don't know.
He was married. Let's put it that way.
He was a married man.
He was a married man. Even your wife was saying that enough's enough.
Yeah, well, I want to know why you stopped.
I have visited in my adult years, but I haven't like gone as like
he
a
didn't
full
officially go as a camper.
In a long time.
He just stopped by on his way to get some pie.
Yeah.
Some northern Michigan pie.
I just had to pick stuff up.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
On my way.
Tom, did you go to that creepy camp again? I did.
I did just for a minute. I just wanted to take a look. Just wanted to eat some of the dirt. Everything's cool. Don't worry about it.
See the new crop of adolescents that came by.
Oh.
Tom, you sit there and you'd bunk with a bunch of adolescents.
Yeah.
You, Jerry Porter, and a bunch of 14-year-olds. Something's not right with that.
Yeah, we opened a bike shop.
And
We opened a bike shop in nearby Petoskey. And away we go.
Yeah, imagine like Tom at that camp just asking, "Hey, do you ever see Close Encounters of the Third Kind?"
Come back.
It'd be like if you were 8 years old at camp and a guy'd be like, "You ever see the original King Kong?" And he was like 70.
You ever see Serpico?
Yeah.
Something's not right. I don't feel right.
Ever seen a crisp $50 bill?
Stranger Danger.
From Airplane again. Hey, can I ask you a question?
Hey kid, you want to watch Dog Day Afternoon with me?
Right. No, I'm a kid. I don't like those movies.
Yeah. Hey, who wanted to fight between Admiral Akbar and Jar Jar Binks? Now come back. Hey, kid.
It's a good movie.
I'm not done talking to you.
It's even better.
John Cassavetes.
Don't make me tackle you.
Because I will.
Oh my goodness.
This movie's better without pants.
Tom goes to camp for 30 years without playing a single sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not true. I got 10 out of 10 in trap shooting one year. I was very proud of myself.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was not bad at archery. Do those count as sports?
After we're done trap shooting, let's go watch Serpico.
Yeah.
Sans pants.
Oh man.
And we'll eat marathon bars.
Oh, marathon bars.
You're out of Heath Bar, kid. I remember when the first adult at Kreepy Camp gave me my first Heath Bar.
It's like jumping off a cliff.
25 years ago.
You know what's one of the pleasures, kid? Eating a Heath bar. It's been sitting in your pocket all day.
But keeping it warm for you.
Son of a gun. I got one right here.
Oh, God.
What are the odds?
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
Question for you. I love it.
We're getting letters.
I love it. I still don't know.
Oh, you're getting letters.
I'm passing them on to you. Dear Mike DeMaria.
Dan's trying to say something.
Forward all letters to Tom's counsel.
Yeah.
No, he says if you keep going 16, 20 hours a day, you're going to own a what? A popcorn? No. What? I don't know what the line is here before he farts.
I am so glad you said that because I was going to risk getting punched in the face and admit that I didn't get all this. You know, he says if the way the market is these days, if you don't own land, you own a he either says a popcorn farm.
That's what I
or a
think
popcorn fart.
I think this is farm.
Neither of which I get.
Popcorn farm.
I thought so until like an hour before we recorded, and then I was looking at it, and he like his mouth doesn't form an M at the end of whatever he says.
Right, it's like
so I don't think it's farm.
As we've noted before, with apologies to whoever it is, the terrible sound in this movie. Yeah. Combined with the thick Brooklyn accent of Rodney Dangerfield, and
which
you get
wouldn't
this
change for the world.
You get this impossible to decipher thing. It's
not Brooklyn.
It's got to be a popcorn farm because why would he say popcorn fart?
Not Brooklyn.
Well, he's from Brooklyn.
It's not Brooklyn?
No, he's from Kew Gardens.
Oh, he's from Queens. I'm sorry.
Get it right.
He's got a Queens accent. I should have known from the subtle difference in the accent that he's from Queens.
Okay, but let's break this down. If he says, okay, if the line is if the way the market is these days, if you don't own land, you own a popcorn farm. Mike, explain that joke to me.
It doesn't make any sense. Neither one of them do.
Yeah, popcorn fart and popcorn farm. Well, the popcorn fart is a pretty funny thing to say.
Yeah, it really is.
Like,
but it's
what if there is like a kind of fart that's like you just called it a popcorn fart?
It's too on the nose
because
he's
he
about
farts.
To fart, right? So yeah, I feel like it wouldn't.
I don't want him to say fart because he farts.
Like a lot of fart jokes and a lot of farts themselves, too on the nose. But
too in the nose.
I think we've established before, Tom, that Mike is able to appreciate a joke for its absurdity and within its absurdity without having to pick apart what it means.
But this is a slightly different kind of absurd. Like this bowl of soup.
The bowl of soup is it works just fine the way it is. It doesn't need to be dissected.
I agree completely.
But if you dissect it, it still works.
Right.
Yeah.
But popcorn farm. I mean, okay, we could start with the fact that is there such a thing as a popcorn farm, or is it just a corn farm? And some of the corn you use as popcorn kernels.
No, because I'm pretty sure that popping corn is a varietal of corn. It's not, you can't just take any corn and microwave it and have it pop. It's a particular type of corn, if I'm not mistaken.
God, you learn a lot on this show.
Yeah.
People should really be appreciative of us. We're giving all sorts of information that you wouldn't get anywhere else, and you wouldn't care.
Yeah, we learned that you went to a Kreepy camp.
Yeah. Well, I knew that already, but now everyone else knows.
That's what I mean. Everybody else learns.
Yeah.
Right.
But I learned about popcorn farms just now.
Kreepy camp.
But that is, so I don't, I guess I don't, I'm going to decide I don't get it, and that's okay.
Yeah,
like
move along.
he's just speaking crazy. He's just holding court, saying what he feels like saying. If you don't own real estate, you own a popcorn fart.
Right.
Or farm. All right. Everyone seems to love it. They're happy as clams that he's saying this bizarre stuff.
Popcorn fart. I just don't. Popcorn fart. Popcorn fart. It does sound a little more like fart, I have to say, but it's.
This
and of course, let's be clear again. Let's just hammer home that also at the table is from left to right. Gatsby,
Yes,
unidentified woman, possibly Doug Kenny, unidentified woman, and then Drew Scott.
Yes.
Yeah, just to be clear,
Yeah.
Drew Scott has the mustache, Gatsby's the bald guy. They're having a great time.
Our former guest, Kevin Marr, posted on his thing a few weeks ago a picture of Shana Na.
Mm-hmm.
And Gatsby's just sitting there like, that's, oh my God, that's Gatsby. And Shana Na, it's hysterical.
Really?
So weird to see him. Yeah, he's the same guy. Like he almost has a martini in his hand.
So wait, Gatsby was in Shana Na? Did we cover that?
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah, he said it when Kevin Marr was on. He told us that. But at the time, I was picturing that Gatsby was
I see.
the other guy with the. I still had him switched at that point.
Oh, I see. Was he in? Did he go to Woodstock?
We asked that question, and he said that Woodstock is not on his IMDb page, even though he was in Shana Na.
Oh, okay, I got you.
So I don't know. So like maybe he wasn't at that.
Shana Na probably has a lot of turnover.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Probably a lot of Bowsers.
Yeah. There's been 18
There's only one
Bowsers.
Bowser.
Yeah, it's like the Dread Pirate Roberts. He's swapping out for another Bowser.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's great. The guy sitting behind Rodney, I get this vague sense that he's like the guy who played Colonel Potter from MASH, Harry Morgan.
Oh, my God.
I get the sense that it's Harry Morgan. Also, he was in Dragnet.
Yeah.
But I get for some reason I feel like that's him. I keep wanting that to be him, but it's not, I think. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just.
It does look a lot like him.
It's just something that pops into my head. I sort of just want it to be Colonel Potter. I want him to turn around and go, "Cool it, guys." He had
a great voice, Harry Morgan.
Loved Harry Morgan.
Yeah.
Well, we're right at the foot of a few good minutes here.
Oh yeah, this one also is just great.
Yeah, but it really kicks off of a marathon of good minutes.
Yeah.
This might be like one of the first things I think about when I think about Caddyshack is this scene.
Yep, the dinner scene. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe not this minute, or maybe this minute. I don't know. Rodney farting. Come on.
Boogie Wonderland is only seconds away.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know yet. Yeah, probably yes.
And also, speaking of Gatsby and Drew Scott, this is the scene. I don't think we got into the moment yet, but this is the scene where I think I got confused about who Drew Scott was. This is the scene that made me think that Gatsby was Drew Scott. Which I think it gets spelled out in a couple of minutes.
Every time we bring it up, it gets more confusing.
It does. It does. It's still not clear in my head. I still say Drew Scott, and I picture
Drew Scott. Yeah, it's going to be a long time before I can start just reflexively picturing the guy as Drew Scott.
I mean, I have a hard time with movies like Freaky Friday and stuff, like just where there's two people who like switch identities or like face off or something. I have a really hard time with those, like keeping things straight. Like, oh, why is she? Oh, wait, no, okay, she looks like Jodie Foster, but that's actually the mom.
Yeah.
Okay, that's Barbara. I have to picture Barbara Harris having this reaction right now, and then when I see Barbara Harris, see what it's actually Jodie Foster.
Or Haley Mills.
Like
the same thing happens with Haley Mills.
Yeah. That's right.
Right.
Wait, does the same thing happen with Haley Mills?
Well, she's two people in.
Oh, she's two people. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And then when you get Jeremy Irons and Dead Ringers, forget it. Those guys are identical. I don't know what's going on.
It's a tangle of thorns, isn't it? Hey, by the way, Tom, you had mentioned before that you like the hairstyle that was happening right around then. Particularly the males.
The feathered
hairstyle, the kind of loosey goosey a little bit, but not
sure.
too long, not hippie long, but kind of
Yeah.
letting it go a little bit. It looks like
Kinda
fun.
loose and
I have
free.
to agree with you there. And I'll just say, at the risk of sounding too lascivious, that's
There's those words again.
50-cent word. Notice the tube top sort of dress that Cindy Morgan has on. It's like there's no shoulder, there's no nothing. It's just like she's got this like line of tube at the top. And then also the woman that's sitting next to Drew Scott, not to be confused with Gatsby, Drew Scott is also wearing that same kind of thing from like right around 1980. And I have to say, maybe it's because I was just getting my consciousness together as a 5-year-old, but like I really like that kind of look.
Yeah.
I have to say.
You get no argument from me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the kind of look that makes you give somebody too much butter on their plate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've been giving someone butter and I see they have one of those tube tops on.
I've wasted so much butter.
Oh, I've gone through so much butter.
It stinks after a while. You leave it out, it gets all rancid.
And nothing gets by Maggie's gaze.
No, she's. Why did she invite him? She invited him for, hey, come on, we'll hang out. And like now he's just, doing his own thing, and she's got to give him grief.
Oh, you're gonna love it.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of beautiful women there. And just give them some butter, and they ask for some butter, you give them some more. And then when they don't need any butter, you keep giving them some more because you can't take your eyes off the tube top.
Give them lascivious amounts of butter.
Thank you.
You drop their fork, you give them a new one.
Give 'em a new one.
Right under the table.
This is my favorite. I'm going to go ahead and say it's my favorite movie fart. There's a great joke. There's a great joke coming up about the fart, which we won't get into, but I'll say that I have used that line more than almost any other line from the movies.
And I don't need that one explained to me.
No, we'll do it later.
We'll do it later.
Well, the great thing about it is it's literally somebody with a microphone just going.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the fakest fart of all time.
Yeah. I did one of those in real life the other day. I farted and it sounded exactly like a cartoon fart. It was like it sounded like
Were you alone?
like a whoopee cushion or something. No, I was in the bosom of my family with my wife and child.
You have
we
that
had
kind
a
of
great
family
time.
where you could just let loose one like that?
Oh my gosh, yes. I wouldn't live otherwise. I would not live in a family where I couldn't just beef proudly in front of everybody.
I bet you Tom's farts smell really bad, Mike, because
They're horrifying.
when you think of his height, the kind of distance that it's got to travel through all that muck and all that shit, right? It's got to go through 85 miles of intestine to get down there, and it comes out there. It comes out there like Tim Robbins at the end of Shawshank Redemption.
Shawshank. I was thinking the same thing. It's like crawling through
5 football fields.
5 football fields of filth and muck.
Yeah.
It's like a little dude banging on my colon from inside with a brick, timing it with the lightning, just to burst through.
Yeah, right. It's traveled a long way, and it's tired, and it smells.
They say digestion starts in the mouth, but it doesn't end there.
Oh my, yeah.
It keeps on going.
That's a long
Those
distance.
kind of weird tubing in it.
I wonder what that was like.
Tom.
I don't know if your family probably enjoys it as much as you do, Tom.
They seem to. They say they do. They laugh uproariously.
Our dads are probably responsible for like 80 to 85% on average of the farts of like a farting family.
Sure.
Right? I feel like the kids aren't really, they're getting into it when they can, but they don't have the same kind, as you know, as an aging male. You get a little more gassy as time goes
It's true.
on.
Yeah, and it all gets a little more personality too. Like a kid will go, and that's it,
Mm-hmm. But you have all these different ones of different timbres.
Got like a bizarre, Hieronymus Bosch symphony going on.
You did this one? I can't believe anybody could do this one because nobody's bunghole could possibly have that kind of elasticity.
All right, let's just... You know what?
Yeah. If you fart like that, it's time to stop going to camp.
I found, that's when they finally knew it was time.
That's when you hear a fart coming out of the cabin like that.
He used to pretend that it wasn't crazy, that it wasn't weird. And he'd be like, Jody doesn't care. And I'd look at her and like, I think she cares now.
Yeah, right.
I think she cares that you're going to this camp.
This is more about you not caring that she cares more than her not caring.
Not understanding that you might. I think it's just time to stop.
Yeah, you just cut it out after a while.
If I hadn't known some normal seeming people who were doing the exact same thing, I would have felt bad about myself.
It's not normal.
No. Hey, listen.
All right.
And you know what? Fuck Michigan. There, I said it.
Yeah, I'll go along with that now.
Yeah.
I mean,
they went red.
I'm really pissed. I mean, I told you I just bought this great T-shirt. Did I tell you about that? It's
the one with the Michigan shirt you were wearing?
It's only the lakes. You know the shirt I'm talking about?
Yeah, I have one of those.
It's very plain. It's just like it's only got the 5 lakes, and it's not technically a Michigan shirt just because, you know, there are other states that are sort of defined in there, but like it sort of says like you're from Michigan.
Guess what? And most of those states went red too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Took the shirt,
Bastards.
brand new, beautiful fit, nice soft cotton, folded it up, put it away. It's over now for a while, and I don't even know when I'm going to get a chance to wear it again.
I don't even know that place anymore.
Yeah.
Mike and I had a great road trip to Ann Arbor to go to Pinball Pete's.
Used to live right by Pinball Pete's. Yeah, I love that.
Mike could not believe that I showed up in the morning.
We thought it was a joke. We had a party the night before. It was like at the end of the semester. We had a party at my apartment. And Tom goes, let's go to Pinball Pete's. I said, okay, you come pick me up in the morning. I'll go to Pinball Pete's with you.
Totally.
He shows up, and the next morning, Tom, there's an arcade just down the street. Let's go back to sleep, and then we'll go there.
Oh, you're funny, Mike. Let's go.
He just jumps in there.
We got a plan.
We had that Fat Boy Slim song playing on a loop the entire way. Right about now, you dirty motherfucker. Right about now, you stinky motherfucker. And we're just all the way to Ann Arbor, and I meet my friend there.
Couple of cool dudes.
Yeah, my friend is working in Ann Arbor. He goes, what are you doing here? I said, me and this tall, goofy bastard have come to town to play video games.
I forgot his name.
I don't actually know him very well.
We got a pocket full of we got a pocket full of quarters, and we're here to play video games. He goes, is everything okay with you? I'm like, everything's fine.
Right, are you on the lam?
Yeah. Do you need some money, or do you need some...
assumed names?
Yeah.
I said, no, man, everything's cool. We just came here to play some video games.
Right. And he put a blanket around you. Come with me.
Like,
apparently, they have Tron here.
He's like, do you want me to call somebody? Like, everything's fine, man. Go back to your Go back to your job, man.
Then
I went back and I was like, Tom, this is exactly like every other arcade I've ever been in. There's one literally 15 minutes from where we just started this 4.5 hour road trip.
Caper.
Yeah, this stupid thing.
You got mad at me for yelling at the
Because I know
games.
you guys had arranged for time at the local public access station and then stopped off at Einstein Brothers Bagels and stayed there all day. You ever wonder how your lives might be different if you did swap that? So like the day that you're supposed to go to Pinball Pete's, you went to Einstein's and then you actually learned something that day?
Yeah. Some missions...
be directing television right now.
Yeah.
Some missions we see through to the end, and strangely others we give up on almost before they start.
What it was is the public access, the CAN TV said, you can have your own public access show. We just ask that you come by and we'll teach you how to use the equipment. Like, that's great. So we signed up for that.
They said there's an Einstein Brothers on the way. Don't go in there.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, we drove halfway there. We're like, let's go grab a bite to eat. And we said, it's such a nice day. Let's not go do this. But on the flip side, we drive 4 hours to go play video games at some janky ass arcade.
Wait a minute. You did this from Chicago?
3 hours, whatever, Dan. It's 3 hours.
From Chicago is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh, I imagine that you guys drove from Detroit. No, you drove all the way from Chicago to go to Pinball Pete's?
Yes.
You dopes.
That's why my friend was there. He's like, what are you doing here?
I didn't really realize. It didn't hit me until just now that you guys drove from Chicago.
I go, Tom told me that they have one of the original Star Wars TIE Fighter games here. So I have a pocket full of quarters, and I jingled the quarters in front of my friend. Jangle, 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 jangle. He goes, what's the matter with you? I go, nothing's the matter with you. What's the matter with you, man? Do you want me to? Do you want me to call your mom? Like, no, everything's fine.
I'm a grown man.
God,
you on drugs?
I did this recently where a friend and I were like, let's road trip to Denver. I heard they have a Taco Bell. So we went for it, man.
And we came back that night. Yeah, we came back that night, and it was like you just walk silently up the stairs, open the door, and just put your keys on the table, and go sit in the chair and stare at the wall and say, Maybe I do need some help. Or
the sound of the pinball machine still ringing in your ears. Ding 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 ding.
I mean, I did make my high score on Tempest, but was that really worth it? I mean, I'm home again. What do I have to show
in
for
the car
this?
with Tall Tom listening to Fat Boy Slim over and over again.
Yeah, to go play Tempest, which is a game that your average 14-year-old can now program in 20 minutes using a simple computer language.
Yeah.
No, that's that.
Yeah.
I'm very charming.
All right.
All right.
I spread joy and magic wherever I go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is the beginning of the 20-minute preamble to the end of the show.
Yeah.
Or we could just try something different. Just end it.
Just
All right.
end the goddamn show maybe for once.
All right.
This was minute 31.
All right,
Come back
that's
for 32. That's it.
Okay.
The end.
Yeah.
Screeching halt.
So screw.
Yeah. Leave us alone.
Yeah.
We're done.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Hey, you scratched my ankle.